everyone. Tune in. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this again here. I tried to change some settings here to make it go a little faster, but it looks like it's kind of sort of slow again. We'll kind of deal with it. It's getting worse and worse as I speak about it, though. Anyway, so last time, if you remember, we went ahead and got some heart pieces, went into the Twilight realm, and worked our way at the little ferry here. We worked our way up here, over across the bridge over here, and now we're gonna head into the Hyrule Castle area. Okay, so in we go. Ooh. There we go, there's Hyrule Castle. Hyrule Castle Town. So this is like the village right outside of the castle of Hyrule there. There we go. Now it's a little bit faster. Spirits here. Oh, I didn't know, I wasn't even looking at the scent. So the scent went this way. Hey, did you hear they said that a Zora child collapsed near here? I thought Zoras were typically found up north, right? I wonder why one came down here. Oh, I heard he was taken to the bar on the other side of the southern road. The bar, you mean Telma's place? She's got it rough. See what's that? Just kind of going about their business. Soldier. Just follow the scent then for now. Looks like this place used to be pretty lively. Spirits. What's going on over here? Hyrule. It's the entrance to Hyrule Castle, it looks like. Nothing. Can't get in this way. Look at it though. That's not even nothing. Let's look. The castle's up there though. Scent goes this way. So I gotta follow the scent. There's a lot of people here. Like a lot of people. This guy that is crossing his arms has been following me for a long time. So they went here. Medical clinic. And then remember, we're following the scent of Lilia. So she went to the clinic, it looks like. She went down this way. Cats. Human woman is so rushed and disorganized. Maybe we should go to the secret path of the car. I don't even know what that is. That's such a big word. Shinabi's house. Follow the scent we go. Oh, kids are talking. I hear a boy passed out. When? Where? I don't know. So, talking about the Zora boy. We're on. No pushing. If you want hot spring water, we'll form one line. That goes to live hot spring water. The race goes to the swift, as it is said. So what the soldier by the spring said, that was the truth. The soldier by the spring. Tim's bar. This is where we need to be. This is it. It's open. Let's go on in. Heading on in. Alright, Tim's bar. Oh. Look who it is. This boy, can you save him? Alright, little lady, just try to settle down, okay? I just now sent for the doctor. But this is strange, a child of the Zoras. I wonder if this is all related to the incident the soldiers were talking about.
Does Jude look scopy?
Yes,
Jude's
sorry, you know how it goes.
You Jude's gay.
These folks can't see you either.
These guys want. We've had a ton of complaints from citizens who can't send prayers to the spring spirit of Lake Hylia. Go there. The location is the one I showed you on the map earlier. Got it? What? Study it and know it well. Study it and know it well. I didn't see anything, so now I'm gonna look at the map. Let's see. Right there. I've received orders from above to investigate why we can't go to the Spirit Spring in Lake Hylia. I got that? So now we gotta go to that location right there. So we have to head on out. Go down that path, and then go over the bridge, and get over there. It's all coming back to me now. Interesting how they laying down. How do I get in here? We go up the stairs, Can I go out the south entrance? No. Go this way. What about this? Fortune teller. What we got here? I can get this castle. Soon I shall make a killing of this town. Play a star game that's all the rage in Hyrule. Don't you want to become the star too? Yes, I do. Alright, let's head on out to where the map said to go. And hopefully the frame rate doesn't drop. Wish it did. But it's playable, I guess. I don't need to kill anyone. It's over here. Oh, it's guarded by rocks. There's the bridge. What does this thing say? It's a bunch of chickens on it. Like how they knew his hangout. Flyer and Favi's watertop land of fantastation. Had left for the Flight by File main attraction. Ooh. That sounds fun. The Great Bridge of Hylia. It's a cool bridge. way, this is almost unplayable. I don't understand what I can do to make this better, you know? It's almost like how do you... I don't know if I even wanna do this in 63. Well, I haven't been streaming for very long. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take a break here and see if I can fix this. Okay. So, I didn't fix it, but I think I found a workaround. At least it'll go kind of fast. So we're gonna go across this bridge then. And we'll go from there. Uh-oh.
From the Padre.
Hey, do you smell anything funny?
Trapped.
Oh no, we're trapped! Get out of here!
So, he shot 2 fire arrows. Basically, we need to get on one of these things. And, here we're going to die this way. And die that way, so... Unfortunately, we gotta jump! Looks like that's an important spirit over there then.
You need one really from the way
For
here.
no reason. It's going faster. So let me go ahead and put that back to her.
Phew, that was a close one. Lucky there was a puddle down there, huh?
Yes. Why can't I hit A? Okay.
Hey, that was a close one. Lucky there was a puddle down below, huh?
And we could
So
stick
this
to
is
where
like,
you need.
yeah, but there's so many water. It sounds like the spirits we should be around here as well. Here, let's take a look around.
Yeah. Let's go take a look around, so it looks like we're supposed to be over here. What's this? The rock in the water. The rock in the water. Come faster than predicted. This rate, we can't let it dry up. It's a race against time. All these fish people. Had absolutely no water flowing from upstream. There's no mistaking it. Something must have happened at the water source in our home, Zora's domain. Yet how are we to return upstream to our home? With the way things are now, we can't even walk back there. Probably actually where I'm going here. Now it seems to be going a little bit better, so when I go like that, it might go slower. So let's try this. Let's go over here and talk to this guy. Whoa. Unto Moses. Fire and Fiver's Watertop, land of fantastation. It's our grand reopening at our new Lake Bottom location. Yeah, nice lake. Don't lakes have more, I don't know, water? Did the Zoras who live upriver do something? Or is it a curse of the spirits that float around right here? Whatever, it's not like I can go up and complain. That's way too high. Is a customer? Yikes, it's a monster. Stay away, stay away. Oh, let's go get that monster. Bird. Attack! Shooting at me. This bat always creeped me out.
Stop it!
Do you really think?
I'm your new master now, settle down.
What?
Hey, why don't you use this guy to all the way to the lake's water source?
Alright, here we go. A giant Twilight
There,
Yeah,
what you going what do you
Turns
mean?
out to be more useful than I expected.
How
Well,
might
then,
you
where's the
gonna
village of
be?
Thesaurus? Let's look for it.
Bread and
Go, hurry up.
Getting cold. It's cold already.
I mean, what are those up to anyway? The rivers run totally dry, right? I can't work like this. Cold. I miss my fur coat. So apparently it's, that's not it. Get back up. I'll go this way. It looks like there should be water in here. Doesn't look like I can get across there yet.
He's just done.
Yeah, I gotta get the water. So I'm running on what I can only imagine is frozen water, so ice, right? Oh. Game went and froze. There it is, fixed it. What is this? It's a frozen lake. Zora's domain. Made it.
Bread,
What's going
my
on?
city is
I would have thought that it would be all frozen over.
there, really big.
I don't see anything. Or why don't I see anything, rather? Well, I'll do it. Let's check them
You
out.
want
Let's
big.
find the Zoras.
Alright, now let's go find the Zoras. I am not doing it. Alright. But yeah, everything's like frozen. And there's like waterfall maybe is frozen, or maybe it's just
Okay, sure.
Get you
Get it up from here. Let's go. Yay.
Oh, I was just ran off. What? There. Now what? How that happened first. Oh! I think I'm supposed to wait. I can do it again. Whoa. Look how far we made it. That's the most north that you're ever gonna get on the map. It's getting kind of slow again, so I'm gonna be able to get all of you at once. I have to go and get you separately. Now we gotta get these two. Come on, guys. Be friendly. Die.
Have you okay?
The portal is opened here. True, we can finally walk.
What
If you want to breathe
if
the
you
air
were
of the
going
world away for a
to
moment, let me know. I'll take you there.
One
Down, look below
twenty.
this. There's a little seat throne here. Whoa. Look at that.
Wisdom comes to
Those are Zoras. Wow, this is really strange.
Hey,
What in the world happened?
We let you need
Hey,
take
we
up
can't
with
just
what
leave them like this.
you
I think
from Padre.
all we need to do is thaw them out.
And we let
It
us
doesn't
need
stop us to
to
just
come
stand here
power.
thinking, let's live and come back later. The
Plus,
purpose
you
of it
come
was
back
we need to
the
find a way
power.
to melt the ice and come back here.
So, yeah, basically there is ice here, and we need to figure out a way to melt it.
You could get anything.
And so we have to grab something that will help us melt the ice. And if you remember, if we go over here to Death
You
Mountain,
must
there was a
come
huge
in.
thing that we had to remember. Once again, the frame rate is terrible. But right here, we see right here, there is a giant.
How? You still feel you
This
need
thing
one
has been here for a
anything.
while now, but it's still really hot.
It's that giant like thing that we used to, or that fell down as we were going to Death Mountain. But then, as you can see here, we actually what we did is we went. We're actually like the most north part of the map now. Except for over here. Not sure what that is. Went down here, we went up the stream. And the stream, I think, goes all the way over here. We climbed all the way up here. Then we went all the way over here with the ice chunk thing, and then went up to Zora's Domain.
Okay.
So we're going to take this. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, all the ice melted.
What you
Oh,
gonna
that's something
be?
that's come in handy.
We
Alright,
want
so Zora's
us
safe now,
to
so let's
need.
go.
What?
Yes, well, then restore the water.
How that?
We
What
finally
the
reach the
power?
swamp of Lake Highland.
That's a good plan. These guys, I guess, are pretty worn out. What I see. Once again, it is going slow. Alright, where do I gotta go? Get up here. Line? Oh no, I saw something. There it is on the wall. Yeah, there's a bug.
Someone help me. Yeah. Wait. Please, you must allow me to thank you for revitalizing what my people in the spring, which is the water source for all the lands of my world. In life, I was the elder of the Zora village and the queen of my people. I was called Leta.
What do you that
Not
had
to be rude, but we didn't exactly good for you guys. The Dark Ones, they raided this village, and as a message to my people, executed me before them. Young man, you take the form of a proud beast. I have something to ask of you. When the Dark Ones descended upon my proud village, I sent my young one, Alice, to Hyrule Castle, before Princess Ella, our fate. But I fear danger following from this doomed place. I feel like his presence grows fainter to me over time. My time in this world has passed, and though I would give it gladly, I no longer have life to risk in his rescue. Please, would you save my dearest Prince Relics? If you do this thing, I will bestow upon you the protection of water. This power grant you the ability to swim and respire in very deep water as if you were a Zora. Please save my son. That sounds like a good plan. So the helper will grant. So for the helper will grant you the power to swim in deep water like a Zora. Sarah, what you say, hero? Oh, but what do you think about it? I don't suppose we should meet the princess or both. So, no hurry to return you to the Lord of Light then, huh? Alright, so we have our mission. If you remember, actually, there was a Zora in Hyrule Town, Castle Town. That is actually the Zora that she was referring to, and something happened to him, so I'm not exactly sure what. But we do have to go ahead and save him then. Oh, where to go now? But we will go ahead and do that next time. Thank you all so much for watching. I am going to edit all this down too. It'll probably be edited by the time anyone will be watching this. So I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye!